Okay, I have a backsplash I have to do this week. And this is what my client wants to put up. And she wants it to go this direction. So if I just start laying it, then I've got to cut all these little pieces to go in between each one of these and all these little corners. Okay, it's going to be a lot of cutting. So I've decided to make a jig, okay, to be able to make it so that I can cut this right about there so that the bottom will fit nice and tight to the countertop, okay? And then, being it's 18 inches, okay, and this is only 12, and then it's gonna actually only be 10 inches, I need to cut the top, so for the underside of the cabinet, okay? So I'm going to make a jig, and it's gonna be two sides. One side it's gonna go in to cut, that's gonna be for the one on the top of the countertop, and then the other one is going to be that I cut the top for the bottom of the cabinet, okay? Now, you can make many different jigs for many different things that you want to do. It's something I do quite frequently. When I have something I have to do multiple times, I'll make a jig and be able to do that product or that project, whatever it may be, okay? When I did a lot of metal framing, I usually made jigs for different things to help me to do my finish work. Okay, so I got my board that I had, and I made some lines. I laid it out and tried to come up with some different measurements and things of that sort so that I could go ahead and make this jig. All right, these are the tools you're gonna need, okay? Tape measure, pin gun if you're making your jig out of wood, which I have always usually made my jigs out of wood, okay? A drill, and a drill with the Phillips head to be able to make the screws to go in. Drill for the screws, drill to drill the holes in the wood, pin gun to put your wood in to make your jig, and don't forget your square, okay? So I want to, or I'm going to start with the wood that I've made for the edges. Now, I had some lattice wood. It actually is pretty close to the height. It's really good, so it's going to slide in and out and be the height that I'm looking for. Okay, so first thing I want to do, I made a line where I want the line to go. Made sure that it was straight, because a lot of these pieces of wood, lattice, things like that, aren't always nice and straight. So for it to fit on this piece of wood, I had to cut one right down the center, which is not a big deal. Okay, make sure I don't nail it to my coffee table. Okay, so now we're going to okay. Now, I want this to be able to go in here. I have a line, but I want to double check it. Now I've got where this will travel all the way, but I'm going to make it top and bottom so that I know what I'm cutting. Okay, so okay, doesn't have to be perfectly in the center because that's not what it's all about. I just want to have a stop. I picked a small nail so I don't have anything coming through to damage my coffee table. All right, so now I want to be able to make my cuts. I want my cut I want to get as much out of this tile as I can without having an issue. So I'm thinking I want to be someplace right about there. Okay, the reason for that is that I'm a little bit off there, but not exactly in that corner, and then it'll be a small grout joint, and I'll be getting the most out of this tile as I can. So I like it. So for now, I just put that pencil line there, and I'm going to take my piece of wood, so that as I do this with my grinder, okay. So I had originally drawn a line, then I went through and drew again, and, oops. Okay, now, that's gonna stay there, that's, okay, so now, I'll be able to put the sheet in here, okay, tight to the sides and the top, run my grinder right alongside this wood, cut that right there, okay? And then that's gonna be our bottom. So I'm gonna put my sticker here, so I know this is the bottom. Okay, now I have to do the same thing for the top. Now, I put this in. Now, this one's going to be 10 inches, so I want this one to be the 8 inches because it's 18-inch backsplash. Okay, now this one, when I take it out, will sit onto the countertop. Then I'm cut this, and then this one will fit right on top of the other one, but then will be cut to where it fits underneath the cabinet. Okay? Now, I know that's the bottom, and this is the top. Okay, and that's how you make a jig. You work out your pattern, you figure out what you're going to want to do. Now this is going to help me cut the tile quicker for the project, so I'm not going to have to sit there trying to measure each one. Okay, I know this is my cut side, and I know this is my cut side. So as long as I cut here and I cut here, everything will be fine. It'll work out perfect. Okay, Building with Papa. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Give me a thumbs up. That's how you make a jig. This one is for the tile that I'm going to cut, and I'll be able to cut it quickly and get the job done quickly. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you out, and I'll see you on the next one.